beautiful full Deco mesh wreath. It's a different method that I've learned. I did not come up with this idea. I learned it at one of the vendors that I buy the mesh from. They showed it. It's a great way to use 3 different kinds of mesh. If you like the real heavy foiled mesh, but it's pretty pricey. Even wholesale, this was $9.95, so it does get pricey. But this is a great way to work it into the wreath without using a lot of it. And then you can see if you like this method or not. And I would love to see your finished products. So let's get started. You'll need 3 different types of the Deco mesh. So you can do, I like to use the more expensive Deco mesh for this wreath because I won't use as much. But you can do any type of, any solid stripes, any color combination you want to do that you think will coordinate well. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut our strips first. And I like to to make my work easier, I layer them. I put all 3 on top of each other. And we're going to use an empty, this is a tube that was on the end of a, once you run out of the Deco mesh and you've got a tube, that's what this is. This is the tube that the mesh is rolled up on. And I use a rotary cutter to cut my mesh. So I just take it to the end. And roll the mesh around the tube 2 times. Or one time around. And then make your cut. It does not have to be an exact. And then just put that to the side. You're going to need a total of 9 cuts if you do it this way. You need a total of 26 pieces, so that would be 9 cuts if you do it this way. Alright, so what I'm going to do again is just going to roll it around the tube until I see on the edge that it's all the way around. So I'm using, if you can see on the end there, you can see where it's gone all the way around the tube 1 time, and then actually I'm missing. I've forgotten all the layers. Be careful with the rotary cutter, it's sharp. So you see, you still have a decent amount of mesh left on these rolls. So you could get 3 to 4 wreaths doing this method out of 3 rolls of mesh. So here are where all the cuts, and what we're going to do is just separate them. And then I'll show you how to twist it into the wreath. So we have our Deco mesh wreath. Of course, I always turn it over on the back, take off the tag, and I make sure that the wire is not poking out, so you don't want it scratching the door. So you just kind of like take your fingers and make sure all the wires pointed to the front of the wreath. And then flip it back over. Make sure you want to fluff these up so that you can use them quickly. Alright. And then on this wreath I work on the outer ring first. I just think it's easier. And you're going to take the roll and you're going to roll it up. You're going to take the cut and you're going to roll it up. And let's see. This is about 6 inches. You're going to pitch it 6 inches from the end in. It doesn't have to be an exact, it's just an estimate. You're going to twist it into the wreath form. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other end. And here's your first piece that you've tied in. So then you can go back and we're going to fluff it. But I kind of like to do that at the very end. See how that gives you a nice full loop right there? So now let's go ahead, and what we're going to do is we're going to alternate colors. So now I'll pick my next color. Do the same thing, roll it up. Measure about 6 inches in, and I'm going to untwist where I just tied in this solid pink. I'm going to untwist it, lay the next one on top of it, twist it back. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing, come in about 6 inches and twist it on to the next loop, the next twist tie. The whole time you're doing it, you want to make sure that these loops are right here and right here, they're consistent in height. So now that we've got the two different types of patterns twisted into the wreath form, we're going to add the next pattern with the same way. So I'm going to untwist where I tied the last piece in and lay it on top, twist it back, come in about 6 inches, do the same thing, and twist it into the next loop, the next twist ties. You can unfold it a little bit. I still like to keep the raw edges folded under so you can't see them. You're just making a loop, a mound or a puffy loop. And so now that we've gotten the three different types on, we're just going to repeat the whole process around. So now I'll go back to using the solid hot pink. There will be some fraying doing it this way since you've cut the mesh, but it's just very minimal. It makes this wreath, it'll make it real full, which you wouldn't think it would. It gives it a lot more texture because you're using 3 types of Deco mesh, and then especially once you add the ribbon in, it really fills it out, so you won't even be able to see the wire wreath form. And you continue the same pattern, alternating. Well, that piece seemed to be a little bit bigger than the other one, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be exact. as you see, I've gone all the way around, and I ended up right here. I should have, to follow the same pattern, another hot pink to go here, but for some reason this wreath is off on the twist ties somehow, so it's not going to be an even amount. But since this hot pink is so heavy in color, I don't want to put another hot pink there. I'm just going to put another white and hot pink stripe in its place. I don't think once I add my ribbon and all the other mesh, I don't think you'll be able to notice a difference. So I've come to the end where I start, or where I started actually at the beginning. I untwist it and then just lay the other one on top of it, or the last piece on top of it, and then twist it again back. I just twist it, a couple times. Alright, so now that I've gone all the way around the outer ring, I'm going to show you how to do the inner ring. Basically, it's the same thing. I'm going to start the inner ring not with the same color. I'm trying not to have the same color right beside each other, although it's inevitable to happen somewhere. The only thing when you do this method, this doesn't seem to be that big of a problem because the mesh is thicker. But if you're using the regular mesh with just, the single foil, you're going to find that it looks a little thin and you can see the frame through it. So all you're going to do is you're going to go back in and do the inner ring one more time. So you're going to double up the inner ring with 2 pieces of the cut mesh. So you're going to just untwist it, lay another piece on top of it, twist it back. So now this twist tie is actually holding 3 pieces of mesh. Take it to the next mesh, the next twist tie, lay it on top, and twist it back. Now you want this piece of mesh to actually go more towards the center, and then the tail of it will go more towards the outside. So here's one that's the inside, that's more towards the center. Then you've got this that's more on the top of the wreath, and then you've got the outer ring. Finished, you can see how it just made it a lot more fuller when you add another layer on the inside. Now you don't, if you think this is too tight, you don't have to add the second layer. You can just do one layer on the inner ring. I make sure that I turn all the little pieces to the outside so I don't have any falling on the inside.